Welcome to the hottest show on the internet, America's #1 professional wrestling rant show, Wrestle Rant HD. I'm your host, Angelo Demetrius, and this is an exciting week in professional wrestling. You have to admit, things may not go the way you want them to sometimes, but boy, they sure do get hotter and hotter every week. Now, professional wrestling this week has certainly been interesting. Things have certainly been going on in World Wrestling Entertainment that may have shaken things up a bit. For instance, World Wrestling Entertainment this week was in Canada. Oh, Canada. Now, many of you may not be fans of the Canadians. Many of you may not even like Canadians that much, but let me say this. While you may not like Canadians that much, you have to appreciate the fact that it's Canadians that have given us most of our professional wrestling. I mean, if it weren't for Stu Hart, Jack Tunney, the former president of the World Wrestling Federation, and his partnership with Vince McMahon Sr., we wouldn't have World Wrestling Entertainment. Heck, there would have been no WWF. There'd be no Bret Hart. There'd be no stories about the Harts. So you have to appreciate Canada for what it's contributed to the business of professional wrestling. As a fan, I do. Now let's talk about what went on this week in the WWE in Canada, the Maple Leaf state, even though it's a country. Anyway, so how about this? CM Punk and John Cena going back and forth, going at it once again. But not just CM Punk and John Cena. Now Alberto Del Rio is thrown into the mix because he is, after all, the WWE Undisputed Champion. Now, Alberto Del Rio, John Cena, and CM Punk have got to work their chemistry out in the ring. And I believe they're doing that. Something is going to happen big between Cena, Punk, and Del Rio. Well, perhaps not the triple threat match that I thought would happen, which is, by the way, a disappointment. But let me say this. You can expect something big with it only being weeks from the Night of Champions. Keep your eye on CM Punk, John Cena, and the WWE Undisputed Champion, Alberto Del Rio. Now, is it just me, or is the McMahon-Helmsley era coming, the Nash-Helmsley era coming to light? I mean, I know the story is that Triple H doesn't know anything about the text from Kevin Nash. Hey, I think it's a great story. I like what the WWE is doing by using Kevin Nash as an angle. I also like the fact that the WWE is doing something different. Something out of the ordinary that they normally do each week. See, it's hard to watch when you see the same thing over and over and over again. But when you tune in week after week after week and see something different, that's what makes you want to watch. Heck, that's what makes me want to watch. Wait a minute. I guess you can bounce a ball up and down on the screen and I'd still watch. Oh, that's for people with ADD. I don't have ADD. Look at the squirrel. Look at this. Oh, sorry. Anyway, the Helmsley-Nash era might be one of the things that the WWE needs to keep us interested. So I advise you to keep watching that story as it boils over and gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Okay, now, let's get to what we do best here on Wrestle Rant. Rant! How about that tag team match between Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne, and the former members of Nexus, Michael McGillicuddy, And what's that nobody's name? He claims to be on the A-list a lot. His name must be David Otunga. Look, first of all, if you're going to say you're on the A-list, buddy, first get on somebody's list. You're not even on a... Well, I can't say that on this program, but let me say this. I think that match was a mistake altogether. Do I think that David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy should have kept the tag team titles? Absolutely not. It's time to move McGillicuddy on because he has so much potential as a singles competitor, it's not even funny. And, well, it's just time for David Otunga to just completely move on. But I think it was a huge mistake to give those tag team titles to Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston. Not deserving at all. Now, where's Kofi Kingston deserving? I believe that you are looking at a future World Wrestling Entertainment undisputed heavyweight champion. Evan Bourne? Well, I just want to say that, Evan, maybe your calling isn't with World Wrestling Entertainment. Without sounding blasphemous to World Wrestling Entertainment fans, perhaps your calling is in TNA. You know, they've got a little division called the X Division. Evan, you should seriously consider it. Those tag team titles, I believe, rightfully belong to the men who could stir up, head up, and lead the tag team division in World Wrestling Entertainment like never before. I am talking about the Usos. Wave your hand if you agree with me. Good. Because the Usos are one of the hottest tag teams in the WWE. They're also the real tag team in the WWE. No, not two guys meshed together. I'm talking about an honest-to-goodness real tag team. WWE, please, do not overlook the Usos for two guys, two separate personalities. A tag team should be a cohesive unit, two personalities bonding as one. Not two separate guys who could do two separate things. Two guys who do things together. And that's exactly what the Usos are. Go Usos! WWE, get behind the Usos! Fans, this is WrestleRant HD, your place to hear what you want to hear, not what they want you to hear. Don't you go anywhere. Okay, listen. As this story goes along that WWE has been crafting out for week after week after week, you must admit it is pretty impressive. I mean, it at least makes you want to watch to see what they're going to do next, right? Well, look at this. John Laurinaitis is supposed to be in the mix of this story. They can't use Mr. McMahon anymore, right? Right. So John Laurinaitis is WWE's new crutch to stand on. Now, Laurinaitis obviously has an important part in the story because he is one of the ones creating the controversy. And as Eric Bischoff once wrote, controversy does create cash. So, will this be enough controversy to create the amount of cash that WWE wants? Well, in the coming weeks, we'll just have to find out. Meanwhile, I like the story with Laurinaitis intertwined in the mix of it. I think that John Laurinaitis adds a good touch to things since Mr. McMahon has left. You need that corporate bull in there to make things a little harsh on people. That corporate oppression always looming over someone's head. And that's exactly what John Laurinaitis brings to the story. Now, we talked about meshing tag teams together earlier. Well, what about R-Truth and The Miz? R-Truth and The Miz obviously haven't seen eye to eye through the past weeks. But now the WWE is going to put these two together? That's what you do to one of the most, not to sound cliche, awesome superstars in this business? That's what you do to R-Truth, who probably isn't ready for a WWE World Heavyweight Championship yet. But come on, don't put the guy all the way back down to the tag team ranks. Him and or The Miz. So I guess what the WWE is going to try to do is work Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne as the World Tag Team Champions, and perhaps put The Miz and R-Truth there. I mean, what are you going for, WWE? Trying to give them every major title before you take them to the top? Oh wait, Miz has already been to the top. I just don't know where WWE is going with their tag team division, but I wish they would go the way of tag teams. Alright, I've ranted about that enough. Now, I have to talk about this. This is wrestlerant. It's what we do. It's what the show was made for. Fans, did you see Friday Night SmackDown? Did you see the promo between Sheamus and Mark Henry? Sheamus came out to stop Mark Henry from verbally brutalizing, at the time, the general manager for the night, Bret Hitman Hart. Well, I don't think the WWE writers quite looked things over before they sent Sheamus out with the stick that night. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you hear like I heard? Sheamus began to tell a story of his uncle's farm and a bull. But not just any bull. And I quote, a black bull. WWE, hear this wrestlerant host. You've got to be more careful about what you write for your superstars to say, or even what you allow your superstars to say. He should have really run that by WWE writing staff before he went out to say that. And or, if it was pre-written for him, the WWE writing staff should have scratched that certain part out. WWE, be more careful about what you let your superstars say on the air next time. Now, hey, I'm not one who's easily offended. I'm not real sensitive. But WWE, a lot of people could have taken what was said by Sheamus on Friday Night SmackDown the wrong way. And if I weren't a conscious fan, if I didn't know about the business of professional wrestling and how it works, I would have. Be careful, WWE. Sometimes walking on eggshells is necessary. Now, how about Ezekiel Jackson? Have you seen anything like that since Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant? He picked up the 7'4" Punjabi giant, the Great Khali, and torture racked him. I gotta admit, I've seen some great things, but I've never seen anything like that before. Way to go, Ezekiel Jackson. And I look forward to seeing more from you like that, week after week after week. And if the WWE doesn't give you a title shot sometime soon, oh, how disappointing it will be. Well, fans, that's it this week for this edition of WrestleRant HD. Fans, before we go off the air, I'd like to say that over the past few weeks, I have been asking the Game Triple H, the new Chief Operating Officer of World Wrestling Entertainment, for an interview. Well, this week, as recent as a couple of days ago, I called World Wrestling Entertainment to ask for that interview from WWE's publicist. I haven't gotten a call back yet, but I can tell you this. Fans, every little bit helps. Continue to go to WWE.com to the Contact Us icon and bombard WWE and let them know you want this WrestleRant HD host to interview Triple H. Fans, not this Monday, but the Monday after this Monday, September 5th, yours truly will be at Monday Night Raw at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. I will be there. Will Triple H give me the interview that I request? Fans, it's up to you. It's up to you, and it's up to you, Triple H, to decide whether or not you want to do this exclusive 5-minute interview for WrestleRant HD. If you do, I look forward to it. If not, well, hey, those are the breaks. Fans, thank you for watching WrestleRant HD. As always, you can see it right here on YouTube.com and at ClickWrestle.com. I'm your host, Angelo Demetrius. This has been WrestleRant HD. Good